What up, doe, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Daily Upside. I'm your host, Keenan Rivals, bringing you sports cards news every day. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed your Super Bowl Sunday. It was a blowout. It was a rough game to watch, but I'm really excited Tom Brady won. I didn't know who I wanted to win going in, but as the game went on and I saw who was going to win, I felt good about it. I'm like, okay, Tom Brady, this is good. This is going to be good for you and good for sports cards, especially as we're moving kind of into this vintage or last era superstar wave. Every time like Tom Brady threw a touchdown or Gronk scored or Fournette ran in for a touchdown, I just kept thinking like, what is this going to be doing for LeBron James's cards? Are they going to go up? Like, is this going to set a new standard? What does this mean moving forward? And, I think that's something we're going to talk about today. For me, this was the battle of modern versus like last era, last generation. Like if Mahomes won, then like I saw like Luka's cards, kind of going back up. And if Brady won, LeBron, Steph, Durant. So yeah, we're going to get into that today. But before we do, I want to remind everybody to shoot me a follow on Instagram. Definitely would appreciate that. Head over to Instagram.com/highupsideshow or just search High Upside Show on Instagram and shoot me a follow. Comment on the video. Let me know you're from YouTube. Let me know you're from this podcast, and I will shoot you a follow back. Same thing over here on Twitter. If you guys could head over to twitter.com/highupsideshow or search High Upside Show on Twitter, shoot me a follow. I talk about NBA Top Shot. I'm sharing out tweets, different plays. We talked about this Durant recently, which we'll get into later. And yeah, just a lot of good value over there on the Twittis sphere or fear. A lot of YouTubers say that. I got to figure that out. Moving on to some NBA news, I do want to talk about my guy, Steph Curry. He's just been putting on a show, and it hasn't resulted in a lot of wins. He's been on some Bradley Beal type stuff where they're putting up 57 points, but maybe he's not winning. But a lot of the Warriors games are really close. They're looking really good for what they have. And Stephen Curry's just stepping up in every way. So the Athletic put out an article talking about like, his value bet and if the third MVP for Steph is possible. And I don't really know if Steph's going to win MVP. I think his team would have to have some wins. I think they'd have to be like a mid seed for him to win MVP, like fourth or fifth or something along that nature. If they go like 3 or 4, 2 or 3, then definitely. But, I don't think it's going to happen. But if you start looking at the numbers, if you start comparing, it is possible. So obviously we got Nikola Jokic, who's just a walking triple double. We got Joel Embiid, who's doing his thing. And, his team is, on top or one of the top teams in the East. And then we have Kevin Durant. Those are kind of like the top 3 guys right now that we think are running for MVP. If I had to end the season today and give out my MVP award, it would definitely go to Joel Embiid, followed by Nikola Jokic, and then followed by Kevin Durant. So I would kind of be in that same tier as well. But Stephen Curry is like that 4th guy kind of coming in. And, he's never really done it by himself. And that's kind of what we're looking at right now. And though he may not win, I think he's just putting up a case showcasing you that he is an all-time great. He's on that Mount Rushmore. And, once Klay Thompson comes back and if they add another piece and, James Wiseman develops, then they definitely could have a killer team over there. And it could be happening during like their shooter's prime. We talked about shooter's prime last episode. So really enjoyed this article. It kind of breaks down the variables and the odds of him winning. And, again, right now, I think they have him kind of like ranked 4th. But if he keeps putting up like 57-point nights, then that might change. So I'm big on Stephen Curry. We'll talk a little bit more about him later. But before we do, I want to get into this next article by The Athletic. And it's just talking about Durant, Harden, and Kyrie and what NBA scouts think about them so far. It's a pretty long, in-depth article. They talk to several scouts, from both the East and the Western Conference. And basically what they're alluding to is since James Harden arrived, the New Jersey Nets have dropped from the 13th best defensive team in the league to the 28th team in the league. So James Harden's arrival has completely diminished the defense. And it's not just like on James Harden. Obviously, they traded Jared Allen. So they kind of lost a defensive anchor there. They kind of lost that guy in the center as they only have DeAndre Jordan right now. And, they're a very small team. But since James Harden's arrival, they've also became the top offensive team. They're a little bit above Milwaukee for the number 1 offensive team in the league. So it's an interesting article that just talks about the various breakdowns of the New Jersey Nets, how they have to come together, and how they basically have to get their defense up. And if it's possible for them to win games strictly off offense. I mean, we kind of saw Houston do that. So I think that it might be possible for the Nets to do it as well. So, we'll continue to see how that plays out. But, they're just saying like, hey, are the Nets going to win a championship? Is a championship or bust? Let me know what you guys think. Do you think if the Nets lose this year, like if they don't win a championship, do you think that's a failed season? I necessarily don't. I don't think this is a LA Clippers situation, but I'm interested in what you guys are thinking. Last but not least, we have to talk about the GOAT, the now solidified GOAT. Tom Brady is NFL's GOAT quarterback, and it's not close after his seventh Super Bowl win. That was the headline for the Bleacher Report. This article is just praising Tom Brady. I mean, let's give this man his flowers. He deserves it. He's just a GOAT, man. He has the perfect story, kind of, zero to hero. And, he switched teams. He won a championship in Tampa. It's just, I mean, it can't be written any better. This is literally a great movie. I can't wait for Tom Brady's movie to come out. And because Tom Brady won yesterday, and because he solidified himself as the GOAT, because we're just all on board and we're all happy, we seen his cards kind of take a tick in price. If you take a look at Card Ladder and you look at his BGS 9 Contenders rookie, Contenders is a huge set. You guys know I love it. Football is actually the reason why I was talking about basketball Contenders. But yeah, there's 247 BGS 9 on-card autograph rookies of Tom Brady. And that card hit a new all-time high yesterday. So this is the 1 month chart. But if we go back to the 3 month chart, you can see this was trending around 35,000 in December. And then it shot up to a whopping 90,000 about 2 weeks ago. And it kind of trended around there between 90, 85, took a little bit of dip to 70. I know whoever bought that at 90 was like, oh man. And then, it started to tick its way back up. So now, yes, as of yesterday, the card went $92,500. So whoever took that gamble back in January, it's looking like it might pay off. I mean, I'm sure this card is going to surpass $100,000. And yeah, we're just talking about $100,000 cards casually now. We had Jordan, and then, Mickey Mantle and the baseball greats. But now we're starting to see some football cards pass there. We're starting to see these modern legends get to that price point, as their careers kind of get towards the end. So, I wouldn't be surprised if this hit 100,000 in the next auction. And, you have to think, like, what does that mean for LeBron James's cards? Obviously LeBron James has some 100,000 autographs, Ultimate Collection, SP Authentic, all that good stuff. But, when you start looking at Tom Brady's SP Authentic, his BGS 9.5, we saw that one ended for $95,000. So that's a new all-time high for that one as well. These are super, super limited, only 365. But, here we just have a regular base card, serial number to 1250, selling for 100 grand almost. So, like, what does that mean? We have to get into that. And one thing that shocked me was when I looked at his Bowman Chrome, it was only going for like 20,000. So it's just interesting for me to kind of see an SP Authentic, go for so much more than the PSA 10 Bowman Chrome. And I get it's a pop report thing. There's 1,000 of the Bowman Chromes. But again, we have 2,000 of LeBron James Topps Chrome, and it makes you think, should we be buying like his serial number rookies from Upper Deck? So that's the thing. But this Bowman Chrome is listed at 20,000. If you look on eBay, you can't really get a Bowman Chrome for 20,000 anymore. I mean, they're all like 30,000 bins. I think some of the auctions are already past 20,000, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 23, 21. So this will probably end at about 30 grand or 27 grand. So that's going to be some new all-time highs for his Bowman Chrome as well. But it's still not touching that SP Authentic card by any measure. And I'm not a football guy. Maybe there's some more to this SP Authentic set that I'm just not knowing about. Maybe they're mostly, I don't know. I haven't did any research on it, but it does get me thinking, should we be looking at some LeBron James Upper Deck cards or some LeBron James serial number cards? So I put a few up that I've talked about in the past. This was his Upper Deck rookie. I put this in morning bins, and I think at the time it was going for like $3,000. If you go to my Instagram, you can see I did like a little chart on this one. I compared it to his Topps PSA 10, and I'm like, hey, this doesn't make sense, guys. This should be higher. And since posting this, not that I've, pushed the market or anything, but since posting that, we've seen this card increase by $1,500 or like 25%. So, if you're an ROI guy, it's up about 25%. And, I think that's a really, really good, increase considering I posted this, 4 days ago. So, hopefully a few of you got in when they were about 3 grand, because that was just strikingly low to me. And, I think a lot of his Upper Deck cards are slept on. And I'm going to tell you why. I think LeBron James Upper Deck cards are slept on because that's where the SPX is at. That's where the SP Authentic is at. That's where the Ultimate Collection is at. That's where all his autograph cards are at. So no one has been looking at any of the base cards. Like, everybody's like, oh, whatever. It's not his XPX, so I'm going to get this Topps. Or I can't afford his ultimate collection, so I'm gonna get this tops. No one's like, I can't afford his ultimate collection, so I'll get his upper deck rookie, or I'll get his upper deck MVP rookie, or I'll get his upper deck rookie exclusives rookie. Those upper deck cards are almost the same price as they were before the tops ran up. So I definitely encourage you guys to look into that to see if there's some cards that you might want to grab before they push up in value. Another one that I like here is his upper deck hard court. I talked about this on Clubhouse a few weeks ago. Serial number to 799. Really hard to find. I mean, one hasn't ended since like January. I think one ended in December and it's sold for 4,500 as well. And then this one ended in January and it's sold for 4,500. But yeah, only 799 made. Super, super underrated compared to his tops and tops chrome. I mean, again, when you go back and look at that, SP Authentic, there was 1,250 of these. Again, I don't know if there's anything special about this set that's making this drive so high in price. Please let me know in the comments, because this could be like, oh, only 10 packs were opened. Or I mean, I don't know. But, when I look at the hard court and I look at some of the other LeBron James rookies, I think they're underrated, So, yeah, hard court for sure. And then there's his upper deck UD Glass. This is one of my favorite growing up. Only 250 of these. Yes, it's $15,000. Yes, that's a ton of money. But compared to his Topps Chrome rookie, it's not that bad. Lastly, there's just his Topps Pristine. I've talked about this one a few times as well. It went up. It doubled in price since we last covered it. It was about 10,000 at the time. Now it's pushing that 20,000 mark. But again, you get a refractor. It's serial number to 1,099. And that PSA 10 is just beautiful. And this is the cheapest you can get into a LeBron James rookie refractor. So definitely looking at entry points. I think that's going to be a big thing. And we'll cover that in a newsletter probably sometime this week. So yeah, these are some of the underrated LeBron James cards. And, if you look at this Topps Chrome refractor, Topps Pristine refractor, again, you can see that within the last 3 months, it has really shot up. But I do think that it has some more value to kind of go up. There's only 155 of these. It definitely has some room to grow. So yeah, that's my list of LeBron James serial number rookies. I think I might take some time out this week as well and really get a good list going of all of his rookies that are serial number. I think that'd be interesting, kind of compile those and put that out for you guys, for those of you who have missed the LeBron James Topps Chrome boat, and maybe you can get in on some of these other plays that are looking to shoot up. I think Tom Brady winning, I think LeBron James looking better than ever. It's just a perfect recipe for making money. I hate to say it that way, but it's a perfect recipe to make some money. Another GOAT, we kind of talked about Stephen Curry earlier, looking at some of his cards too. Tom Brady, he may not affect Stephen Curry directly, but once he affects LeBron James, then LeBron James go up, the market's going to kind of follow. And Stephen Curry will likely do the same thing because he is a part of that Mount Rushmore. He's in the conversation of one of the greatest players to play, ever, and one of the greatest shooters. So if you look at his cards, you see they're trending as well. His upper deck rookies now, pushing towards $1,500, which is just insane to me because it's one of my least favorite rookies of Stephen Curry, compared to everything that he has. I mean, I hate this Davison jersey. I just hate this card, but it's pushing up there in terms of price. Same thing with his Topps rookie. I mean, it's going to be $15,000 really soon, which is absolutely insane. Who would have ever thought? And we even see like his Panini rookie, which is one of my favorites. It's pushing towards $1,000 itself. And then my all-time favorite Stephen Curry rookie, I think it's super underrated, and that's his Bowman 48. These are serial number to 2009, which is the draft class year. This is the last year of Bowman. Is it the last year of Bowman? It may not be the last year of Bowman, but it's just an iconic looking rookie. It looks super vintage. They're really, really limited. There's not even 100 of these graded, I think, or maybe there's a little over, but I think there's 110, if I remember correctly, 110 of these graded. And, I don't know if you can get it at $4,000 anymore. I don't know if anybody knows the price points of these cards. They're just all over the place. There's such a low pop, and so many of them are just like in collections or in vaults that I just don't think they're coming out with that limited serial number. So I think if you can grab a Stephen Curry Bowman, then you definitely should, because there's just not that many floating around, and it's just best offer or nothing on these cards. So, I mean, this one I think sold like 3,500 or something along those lines. And that was a big price point. That was pretty high. But if you look at the BGS 9.5s, there were a few that recently ended. One sold for $2,200. Another one sold for like $2,500 via best offer. And then one ended for $2,200 in auction. So if we look at the charts, if we start looking at data, we can see that, right now BGS is, if we're being favorable, it's about half the price of a PSA. So if these are going $2,200, then it's safe to assume the BGS is going, the PSA is going for, $4,500. And compared to a $15,000 tops rookie, they're serial numbered and there are only 110 of them, I think. That's just super, super limited. So I think Steph Curry's next to kind of blow up. I pulled up his chart here on Card Ladder. I think Card Ladder not having the Bowman also hurts the card. I think a lot of people use Card Ladder to kind of see like what are the popular cards or which cards should I be buying. But yeah, if you look at the last month here, you can see that the tops moved 110%, the upper deck moved 50%, and then the Panini moved 16%. So this is something that I look at. Here's a little gem for you guys. I like to put everybody's cards, on this list. And then I'll just see like, okay, if this is up 110% and if this is up 50%, this is probably going to go a little bit higher than 16% at some point. So that's kind of how I gauge cards. I'm not saying you should jump in and buy a Stephen Curry Panini. Obviously, do your own research, but that's just a little gem to show you, some of the things that I look at to predict the future price points of this market. So yeah, big on Steph Curry's Bowman. I think it's going to shoot up. I think it's going to soar. I love that card. And if you have one for sale, definitely shoot me a DM on Twitter. Last but not least, if we're talking about LeBron, we're talking about Steph, we're talking about Tom Brady pushing these GOATs, we got to bring up Kevin Durant. This is one of my favorite buys of Kevin Durant right now. That's his tops 1112 black border PSA 9. I think grabbing these at $1,000 is a pretty good deal. Again, not investment advice. I'm buying these at $1,000 right now. I think it's a pretty solid deal when you compare it like to the Stephen Curry market, when you compare it to the LeBron James market. If you look at this chart on Card Ladder, if you look at his Topps Chrome, again, just comparing these rookies, you can see that over the last month, the Topps Chrome PSA 9 moved 50%, but the much more rarer, sought after, Topps 1112 only moved 14%. So I think these definitely have some room to grow. And if you just start comparing them, sorry for the loud typing for those of you who are listening to the podcast, if you start comparing it to his, counterparts, Stephen Curry, for example, Stephen Curry has a pop of 889 for his Topps PSA 9 rookie. And it's going for $2,500. And again, Steph Curry's a legend and a GOAT, but I think Kevin Durant should be at least up there, especially because he has a lower pop point. And the PSA 10 of this card is just damn near impossible to get. So I wouldn't be surprised if this one jumped to about 15, 18, maybe, 1,800. I'm not going to say he should be the same price as Stephen Curry just yet, but, as they get more wins, as they get situated, if Kevin Durant can stay healthy, and if the Nets just don't destroy themselves, then it's definitely a gamble, but I think it's a good value there. So I've been picking these up, and I think that's my next big play. It's just Kevin Durant Topps rookies. I think they can, hit a 50% growth from here, and that's a good price point for me. So that's it for this one, guys. Just kind of looking at Tom Brady, looking at what he has done, looking at what a championship win should look like, because last year we didn't get that in basketball. You won a championship and LeBron James's cards went down. So these are the effects of winning a Super Bowl championship. And I think they'll be the effects of winning an NBA championship this year, now that the market and the world is just a little more comfortable. I'm not going to say we're stable, but we're a little more comfortable. So let me know what you thought about today's episode. Let me know if you're buying some serial numbered LeBron James cards or if you're just sticking with Topps and Topps Chrome. I'm going to sign out. You guys have a great day. Sign up for the newsletter at highupsideshow.com. Happy investing.